is Emily, and I'm gonna do another video. I haven't really done a back-to-back video, but this will be my first, and I think it's gonna be okay. So here goes. Like I said, I'm Emily, and I'm on YouTube now. I'm doing more and more videos, and I'm trying to document what it's like to be a male to female trans girl and what my feelings are personally. I think it's a healthy outlet for me and for many who are going through the process. I've seen so many videos on YouTube, and I think YouTube is a godsend because we all can contribute in a way and learn from others that are going through what we're going through. And I was, for the longest time, reading and researching on the internet about the feelings that I had and what it was like to live and feel different. It's not something that many people relate to. We're in the minority being transgender, and it's a struggle. It's a real struggle. You know, we struggle every day. You know, there isn't a day that goes by where we're not struggling. But I think as we approach our transition and we go step by step through the process, things start to fall into place. And that's really what we want. You know, we want to have peace of mind. We want to be out of the pain that we struggled so mightily with. You know, nobody wants to struggle in life and be in pain. You know, it's wonderful when you know that your inside matches who you are outside. And coming to terms with that it's a joy. You know, when you can be true to who you are as a person, there's no greater feeling. You know, I wish I could talk more feminine. I wish I had a feminine voice. You know, my voice is a male voice. No matter what I do right now, it's still going to sound like a guy's voice. I'm taking voice lessons. I'm doing what I need to do to help myself. I watched voice lessons on YouTube trying to learn from the girls, and their voices are amazing. I'm so jealous. I want to talk like that. I want to be emotional. I am an emotional person. You know, I'm on hormones. I've been on hormones now 2.5 years. So my emotions range, and I have ups and downs. And I want to sound more like a girl. That's what I am. I am a girl, and I want to sound like a girl. You know, my voice, I wish I could train it. You know, I've been taking lessons, and during the lessons, what they teach you is you try to speak in a high pitch, you know, and you raise your pitch. And as you do that, you try to bring it down. And you have to exercise different muscles that you're not used to. So I'm practicing on the basics right now. Certainly I don't know much. All I know is that I'm working on it and I'm doing what I need to do. And it's a process, and it's going to take me a lot of time. But if I can speak more in a feminine way, I think it'll go towards a lot more of a feeling of self-confidence, and it will help me to feel better about things. You know, you live and you try to communicate, and communication is a big thing in life. As we talk to people, and how we convey ourselves, and how we speak. And, you know, for many, getting over that hurdle is a big challenge. I think that's one of the biggest challenges that we face. And I'm just blown away by a lot of the girls on YouTube who can speak in such a beautiful voice. I want to be like that. I certainly want to sound more like that. And it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a lot of practice. Practice and working on it, and patience. A lot of patience. I think as time progresses and I work at it and I feel more confident, it'll develop, and then I'll be more excited with doing a video where you can see the difference. So this will be a good exercise for me. So you could see like before and after videos of how I sound now, and hopefully how I'll sound in the future. Um, Voice is a very big issue for me, and I just want to be able to be past with my voice. My hair is growing, but it's still short. Um, and I'm wearing a cap to kind of cover that. And, I'm not 100% confident in how I look. There are so many girls that look amazing, and I'm just average. I wish I could look amazing and beautiful and be that feminine, lovely, gorgeous girl. And I'm just in envy when I see these girls. Like, it's incredible. I wonder how they do it. It's like, you can't even imagine that they were once guys. It's like incredible. When you see me, you could tell I'm a guy. But I'm trying my hardest to look more like a girl and be feminine. But it's incredible, these videos I see on YouTube where these girls just, you'd never know. It's just amazing. You know, they're like my role models. But, I have to go at my own pace, I can't be critical. I have to just try to make the best of it in my own situation. And, take it gradually, and things will work out. But voice is a big issue for me. I also want to go out. I want to socialize. I have a family and all, but I think it's good to get out and do things. I certainly want to be working again and presenting as Emily. And that's a big worry for me, is getting a job and needing to be Emily. I have to have more of a voice that matches my gender presentation. So I have a lot of work to do on the voice. Um, you know, I have to learn how to speak in a high pitch and bring it down a bit. I've been working with a good voice coach who has many good credentials, and I had a very positive lesson, my very first lesson, um, but I've got so much work ahead of me, and it's going to take some time, but hopefully it'll pay off in the end. People know that when you transition you have to spend money. That's something that's a well-known fact. I'm taking voice lessons which cost me about $65 a half hour. That's pretty expensive. I do electrolysis, which costs me about $70 an hour. I'm taking hormones, and because of my gender, the estradiol isn't covered because technically I'm male, but I identify as female, so I have to pay that out of pocket. My spironolactone is covered, so I just pay a copay. I'm going to doctors, that costs money. So it's a process, and never would I be able to come this far without doing all of that. It's a challenge. It's something that I've known I would have to face at some point in my life. It's a rewarding when you know that you're doing something that is bringing you more in line with who you feel you are as a person. I just look at my life as a whole and what I've done, and I'm proud of me. I'm proud that I have a family. I'm proud of my son. I think it's great that I managed to be a father and a husband. I I wouldn't trade that for anything. Um, it's a joy when you see your son and growing, and when he was born, it was such a miracle to be a part of that. I wouldn't trade that for anything. But with that said, I always knew that there was something different with me. And, transitioning is not easy. I feel that if I didn't come to grips with the reality that I had to transition, I probably would have committed suicide. I really do. I think not many people understand the consequences and the pain that a transgender individual goes through. But suicide weighed heavily on me, and I attempted it several times. And there are times when I feel suicidal. I've attempted overdoses. I've gotten so depressed that I just wanted to give up and say I've had it. I just haven't come to grips with the reality that I couldn't go on. I had to come to grips with that. And I just felt that if I didn't transition or move in that direction, I probably wouldn't be here right now. I sincerely mean that. I was really on the verge of committing suicide. And I'll tell you, it's horrible. It's awful when every waking day you feel pain and you just want to end it. You just want to give up and say, I've had it. And unfortunately, a lot of transgender people feel that way. I feel that way. I've always felt that way. I'm part of that statistic of 40 to 50% of transgenders attempted or have actually committed suicide. I'm part of that statistic. And I've called suicide hotline. I must have called suicide hotline a dozen times. Luckily, I was able to talk my feelings out and express myself. But suicide is scary because, you don't know how beautiful life is. You just want to end your pain. But as I started to transition, I started to realize that things are getting better and I can be happy. I can find the right track that I have to take to be true to who I am as a person. I don't have to suffer anymore. I don't have to struggle. Sure, I want to do everything, but I can only do what I can do, and I have to make do with that. But I think it's better than dying. I mean, we're all going to die eventually. But I want to have time as me. I want to live my life as a girl and explore and just be happy that way. Because that's always how I felt inside. And I think if I committed suicide, it would be so devastatingly tragic. Because I would never have the experience of my transition as Emily. I would never be able to share that with people. And that would be truly heartbreaking. I'm not saying that we feel all of a sudden that life is beautiful and wonderful once we transition. That's not true. We're still going to face depression, and if we had suicidal feelings in the past, we're still going to have to deal with those feelings. But once we feel confident and comfortable with the process of transitioning, and if we find acceptance, it'll go a long way and it will help tremendously. I think it's important to do a video on suicide because suicide is a very final act, and I don't think people who commit suicide really want to. I think they just want to end their pain. And it's something that nobody can understand truly unless they experience what the person who feels that way is going through. I know what I felt like as I felt those horrible feelings and wanting those feelings to go away. I knew in my heart that I couldn't do it by myself. I knew I needed help. And I was lucky, you know. I was very lucky to get the medical help that I needed. Otherwise, I would have wound up another statistic and my son would have had to live without a father, which would have been tragic and devastating. You know, even though I present as a woman, I'm still a father to my son, and I always tell my son that, you know, and he's pretty good about it. So we hurt the ones that love us the most if we were to commit suicide. Suicide is very serious, and I think that a lot of people who do commit suicide are lost and feel all alone and just feel like their pain is never going to end, and they don't get acceptance, and they just feel like they don't have any self-worth. They feel that they're not loved, and they feel, why should they go on if they're going to live in pain and misery? And the sad reality is I know what that feels like. I can fully understand, and I can actually know what drives somebody to committing suicide. I don't think that's a good thing for me to say, but I'm not going to lie about it. I think suicide is something that you need to address. You have to seek therapy. You need to take medication. Certainly there's a hotline that you need to call, 1-800-SUICIDE, SUICIDE. There are websites you can Google for suicide aid assistance. Call 911 if you're not doing well and you feel like doing something that would hurt you. You know, we all want to be happy. We all want to be content with ourselves. I think transgender people struggle because they're not happy in their bodies. They just don't feel that their bodies match who they are. And unfortunately, that's why transgender people struggle with depression and suicidal feelings, and just have a low self-esteem with regard to their lives. But I think once they are able to transition and find acceptance and start to feel good about themselves, I think they'll make great accomplishments. And I think that's a wonderful joy for people. I think it's very important that you never take things for granted. And also, it's very important that if somebody who you're friends with, excuse my cell phone, I'm sorry about that. I think that if you know somebody who feels really depressed or talks about the prospects of suicide, don't brush it off. You know, don't just tell them that things will be okay. You know, you have to listen to them and try to be sympathetic and offer them your time and just be a friend to them. You know, that's what they're seeking, is to have somebody they can trust and express themselves. You know, I saw a video on YouTube which I found very sad because it was done by someone else who identifies like I do, male to female transgender, and she, I should say, did the video but in male mode, and she looked like a guy, but in her heart she's a girl. And she did a video on suicide. Of course, she said she tried to find videos on it and she really didn't see anything. And the basis for her video was to kind of